Hey, it's Dr. Manny again. The topic is physician net worth, self-worth, and used car dealerships. So I'm sure you're asking, what? Okay, so one of the topics that, well, first, let me tell you a story, and then we'll tie it back. I was at a car dealership looking at cars I knew I couldn't afford, you know, stuff that like rhymes with Ferrari. And so I'm in there checking out the prices and stuff because I just enjoy doing that, just being in there, touching on the leather and not getting kicked out, for sitting in the cars. So I was working my way down into my price range, the less luxury stuff, because I'm realistic at some point. But so I finally get down and I'm sitting with the dealer, and he tells me the price of the car, and then he tells me what the monthly payments are going to be. And I'm like, hey, okay, less leather, less just less anything but the base car, because I was in love with the car enough so that like if it was riding on bare metal, I probably would have been just grinning to have that car. So we get the price down, the monthly price down to something where I'm like, okay, I want that just a little bit lower. So the guy pops up out of the seat, runs out, and comes back with a clearly more, walks me over to like a clearly more expensive car. And he's like, well, we can get you this for this amount a month. Now, I was excited at first, and I was rolling with it, but then something told me back up and do a little reality check. I'm like, so what's the total I'm going to pay on that car? Because I was lusty all over again. He had put some bells and whistles on there, and the whistles were singing my song. So the other car, despite the fact that the monthly payment was lower, was going to end up costing me more in the long run. So the concept that there's two concepts I want to communicate with that. The first one is, first of all, the whole concept of connecting your self-worth to your net worth. That and net worth, I'm using the general net worth money, saying like the same way we use GDP to calculate the value of the country. When you connect your self-worth to your net worth, you get the mindset where the more money you make, the more you have in the bank, the more you're worth. That's a broken way of thinking to begin with. Now, the second thing is, once you've done that, you set yourself up for this trap where someone can distract you with a salary instead of having you invest in yourself. Someone could say, hey, guess what? I'll pay you $200K a month, $200K a year. I got caught up in a different world right quick. $200K a year. So when they pay you that $200K a year, you're like top of the world. I'm making that money. But what has happened is they've diverted your attention to a salary instead of what you're worth overall. You're tricking yourself with two illusions there. You're telling yourself that because you're making all this money now, you're discounting, you're doing a form of what they call delay discounting, where you're devaluing the future because of the amount you're making now. Because at some point, you're going to not, most of my clients will be like, by the time they hit 55, 56, they're like, dude, I don't have another decade of this in me. And they've put a little money aside, but not enough to live as if you were making 200,000 until you're 90 something. So by realizing that if you're making X amount and it's a great life now, and you're not investing in yourself, you're A, not going to keep up with inflation. B, you're not going to be able to maintain this lifestyle. And C, you're tying your sense of self-worth to your net worth. You're able to back up from that illusion and say to yourself, am I doing the things that I value? And it just incidentally, someone is paying me for that. Am I doing things in a way that is in integrity? Am I living my life in such a way that if someone took the distraction of paying me away, I was following my bliss, I'm putting my energy somewhere where I'm adding value to other people's lives. So back to those main concepts. Concept one, don't get distracted by the used car salesman along the road paying you monthly payments or capturing your attention with monthly or annual money or even annual money, when in the long run, you will not have accumulated the net worth and the value that includes all of your self-worth. And in addition to that, make sure you're living in integrity. And I know those are still abstract points. I'm still thinking through them, and I actually have simpler, longer diagrams, but sometimes I like to try to tie the thoughts back to actual life experiences. So hopefully to resonate with something that you're living through. And next time one of those events happens, it will ring a bell off and you'll start thinking about what that means to you, your long-term and your exit plan. Break the cage, MD.